Today's the day that I am going to share with you one of my most requested video topics, which is how I find fabric at thrift shops for sewing and quilting. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 areas that I look for fabric in my local thrift shop and how I would use them and all of that wonderful stuff. I took those 5 categories just because I wanted to have some fun today and put them on some pieces of paper. So I'm going to draw them out and talk about them. I also have some stuff here, some examples of things that I've done or that I'm planning to do with the items that I thrifted. Before we get started, I'm Chris O'Neill from Sew the Distance. Thank you for joining me for this video. And hopefully this helps you think differently about things and maybe even get you into your thrift shops buying used, especially with everything being so expensive and it being better for the environment. All right, so let's dig in and draw our first one. All right, home decor. Okay, so home decor is a great area to look. You can find all kinds of things like curtains, and I have one here that I thrifted that I'll talk about in a minute. In fact, I have a whole pile here, right here, of all the stuff that I got at my last thrifting adventures last weekend, and this curtain is one of them. I'm going to use it. I'll talk about that in a bit. But curtains are great. There's a lot of cotton curtains. If you want to stick with cotton, there's definitely a lot of linen curtains. Linen's a great fabric to work with. Holiday prints. You can also get tablecloths, placemats. All of these things can be reused. Take it apart with your trusty old seam ripper and getting some of that fabric harvested. I know people don't love that word, but I don't know what else to say. Gathering, getting, taking, I don't know, harvesting is the best word. So there it is. You could do all kinds of different things. You could take placemats and make them into tote bags or even just collect the fabric as you go. Another area that's great to look in that section are tea towels, things with motifs, and sometimes you even find handmade items that somebody had made that you can use the fabric from or even just make it a little better. Put a little swoosh on it. Smoosh, something. For example, I found these the last time I was at a thrift shop. Not the last time, a time before that. And these are Christmas card holders. Aren't they cute? Well, this one is and this one is. I bought them both. And I'm gonna just add to them and make them a little bit better, bring them up to date, maybe play with it a little bit. I don't know, maybe make a new one. I'm not sure, but I love these and I love getting ideas like that from home decor items. Another thing you can do is use things as templates so you can see how things are made. Say you want to make some coasters or you want to make a table runner, you can check it out and see how everything is put together. Okay, let's draw another item. Let's see, clothing. All right, this one I love because this is my favorite way to upcycle. When you're looking for clothing, I like to look for cotton, flannels, chambrays. I like natural materials. Linens are great. In fact, I have a shirt. Okay, look how huge this is. The bigger the better is what I say when I'm looking for stuff like this. I love to thrift men's shirts, especially because they are sometimes huge. This is a 4X. It is linen. And wouldn't this really make some really cute placemats or something for Thanksgiving or a tote bag? You could quilt this and make a tote bag out of it and break it down. One tip with buying clothing, think about breaking them down as soon as you get home because that task can be overwhelming. Another thing that I've made with pajamas, grab it. These are made with flannel pajamas. This is made with flannel pajamas. Not these. This is made with flannel pajamas. I took it apart and just had some fun creating something. And I had a ton left over for other projects. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Something. I also made a scrunchie. Isn't this cute? I think this one came with pants. If I'm not mistaken, I got this summer. And I made shorts, pajama bottom shorts out of the red ones. You can get all kinds of cool things from these fabrics. They're beautiful fabrics. A lot of times they're really heavy-duty, nice fabrics, nicer than sometimes you can buy for a yardage. So it's a great way to harvest, again, that word, some things that you can use. And you can use the buttons too. You can pull the buttons off or any of the zippers, anything like that. Another example is this flannel that I just bought a couple weeks ago. I love it so much, though I might keep it for myself. But it's beautiful, heavy flannel. I can break this down, get some squares out of it, and just keep collecting squares and make a quilt. So you can do all kinds of stuff with it. So make sure you're looking for those shirts, especially men's shirts, pajamas, especially flannel, and scrubs. And that's the last category in this section. Scrubs. There are so many at thrift shops. Every time I go to a thrift shop, there's scrubs, and there's so many different kinds. Now, of course, all of the stuff, make sure you wash it really, really well. That's the first thing I do when I bring anything home. I digress. Scrubs have the cutest prints sometimes, and it's just a great way to use up some of them and keep those things out of the landfill, because we have an overabundance of clothing. And here's a picture that I took from a warehouse at a thrift shop, and this is just one thrift shop. It may seem like we're taking it out of people who need it, out of their hands, but there is so much that it's really, a lot of it's just gonna go to the landfill or who knows where else. So we're doing a good thing too. All right, time to pull another one. So we got 3 more left. Baby items, yes. So this is one of those places that's sometimes overlooked. There are a lot of wonderful fabrics in the baby section that you can repurpose. You could take some of those wonderful knit blankets that you see, the receiving blankets. You can make little baby hats, dresser scarves. You could make pillows. Well, I don't know about pillows for a baby, but you could make pillows for yourself. You could make all kinds of things out of those items. You can even take some of those items and put them together and make quilts out of them too. The baby section is a great place. I find a lot of the double gauze, which is a wonderful fabric to use on the backs of baby quilts. I find a lot of that there. So keep that in mind. Look at it, see what's out there. Baby clothes, you don't get much bang for your buck, but you know, if you find something cute, maybe with a cute applique or something like that, hey, go for it. You could do that too. All right, time for another one. Let's see what we have. Accessories. I love this because people don't think about this, and a lot of times there's so many good things in the accessories area. For example, tote bags. They're great for making better tote bags. You can take things and applique it on the front. You could just sew accessories or sew embellishments, that's the word I want, onto them. You can make gift bags out of tote bags, and there are so many out there that have logos on them that get donated, and then they end up in landfills. So you could cover up that logo. Another thing to look at are scarves. They sometimes have some really great fabrics in those that you can take apart and use. Purses, you can get hardware sometimes. You can, again, harvest some things from that, and you can see how these things are made. If you're still with me, make sure you like this video and comment below what you love to get at thrift shops, if there's anything. I'd love to hear. Before we do the last one, I'm gonna show you what I bought this past weekend. I was in Vermont visiting my son, and I had so much fun. My son and his girlfriend love to thrift too. My husband, not so much. He gets kind of bored. I bought this. This is the curtain I showed earlier. This is gonna be part of the backing of my string quilt that was made from an old wreath that I thrifted, or old wreaths. I had a bunch. And I thrifted it and I made this quilt. So this is gonna be the backing or part of the backing for that. So I got that. I also got this wonderful panel fabric with flags on it that I'm going to use for the quilt that I'm gonna make for a charity event for veterans next year. This is probably my favorite. How much did I get of this? I wrote it down. I got 1.5 yards of this. Look at this fabric, it's from 1993. Oh my goodness, I love this so much. So I got this, and this, by the way, these were all by the pound, and this was at a thrift shop in Vermont. I could not believe the fabric selections and the sewing selections that they had there. Oh my goodness, I just was stunned. This was in Barrie, Vermont, I believe. Yeah, I'll put the name of the store down here. It was really great. So I got that. I also got some vintage Christmas fabric. And again, this was by the pound. I think I paid, I don't even know, it was like 50 cents a pound. I paid $3 for all of this, so I can't even believe it. Isn't this pretty? And then at a different thrift shop, I'm not sure the town we were in, I'll have to check, but at a different thrift shop, I found this. And this is one of those things that I'll probably take apart and upcycle. I did this with a pillow that I got in Vermont too. I have a video on that. I'll put a link to it at the end here and in the description. I like to do this. This isn't really my style with the stitch in the ditch. If you know me, I like to stitch in the neighborhood. So I'm gonna play with this, probably take it apart and rework it somehow for the spring, but I love it, and it gives me a good idea for something to make too. So that was a lot of fun. All right, our last one. Let's do it. All right, well, I know what it is because it's the last one. All right, So linens, sheets, quilts, and blankets. And I talked a little bit about sheets, I think. Maybe? I don't know. But anyway, sheets are great. They're not always 100% cotton unless you get the older ones, but sometimes you come across them. But if they are even a blend, they work well. So that's totally up to you on how you feel about that. There are other things that you can get, however. I am always finding quilts, and I don't mean antique quilts. I find them too, but not as often. I find store-bought quilts, like things from Walmart. One of them, I think I got this at a yard sale. Let me grab it. So not a thrift shop, but I'll show you another one that I did get at a thrift shop. And I made a sweatshirt out of it. This is just a Walmart quilt. And I also got this quilt. I intended to make another sweatshirt out of this because it has these wonderful prairie points at the bottom. I thought that would be a lot of fun. However, when I got it home, washed it and cleaned it up, I loved it so much I put it on my spare bedroom bed, so it's there. It did come with 2 shams. This is one of the shams. And this sham has a stain on it, actually quite a few stains, and I have a feeling that's why it got donated. I'm thinking I'm either gonna applique over those stains and use it. I've tried to get the stain out. Could use some bleach, I don't know. But I might just applique even white fabric over it. Nobody will ever know. If I don't, I definitely am gonna use this to make something. And it has a zipper back. There's the tag, see? Definitely store-bought. And it's a zipper back, and I could even harvest the zipper and use it and reuse it for something else. So there's so many wonderful things that you could do with the quilts. Now I haven't done this part yet, but maybe I should. I should try it. They've taken mattress pads that are from thrift shops and used them for batting. That's another great idea, a way to upcycle in a very inexpensive way to find quilting supplies in a non-conventional way and save your wallet and save the environment as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, please let me know. I'm happy to share some other tips that I have. I love thrifting and I could talk about it all day. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you take some time to sew, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.